Next month, I'll be doing an event with Richard Dawkins in Belgium, and leading up to that event, this video and the one we'll watch after that will help inform that conversation.
Once influencers have infected enough people with a given meme, it begins to become mainstream. It's important to understand that by the time a meme gets to the normie section of the Mac, the meme will almost certainly have mutated and been reduced to a much less sophisticated version of the original meme that the autists and influencers interacted with. For example, there are plenty of normies who would call themselves socialists, but almost none of them are purely logic-brained enough to have actually evaluated the mimetic fitness of Karl Marx's ideas around dialectical materialism or the labor theory of value. But that's the key thing to understand. Normies do not need to have a fleshed out understanding of an idea in order for them to adopt it. Most people form their beliefs not through rigorous logical and empirical analysis, but simply by imitating the beliefs of those they hold in high regard. The socialism meme complex wouldn't have been able to spread to normies unless it had been refined and adopted by influencers who normies respect. This dynamic is made even clearer in a religious context. A very small number of highly rationalistic theologians engage in obscure debates about the nature of God. Priests and pastors pay attention to these debates and then convert these obscure ideas into actionable sermons that they share with their congregation. Most normie Christians don't read the Bible, but they will profess to believe whatever it is their priest or pastor happens to believe because they trust him to make the right judgment on complex theological matters the congregation doesn't have time to concern themselves with.
Okay, so this is really important. So it does start with the autistic, people who stay online crazy number of hours. They flesh out the ideas, they go through it. From there, it goes, at each stage, it's diluted a little bit. It then goes to the influencers. The influencers pick up the ideas, but diluted, who then, that's what they are. They're influencers, so they influence people. They influence normies. And again, I think that the example of socialism and Karl Marx and communism was great. They don't understand the intricacies of the theories, but they're influenced, it goes to their moral sentiments, and they start believing it. So this is one way that ideas spread. And this process has been expedited now because of social media, YouTube, and the online world. What's really interesting is also the next clip that we'll show here of how ideas propagate. So your brain is the hardware and the mimetic devices are the software. So this is the software that fuels your brain. So this is just ideas that come in that plug into your brain, but the hardware remains unchanged.
Many people will dismiss the importance of an idea because only a small number of people believe in it, and those that do are usually confined to the eternally online hellholes of 4chan and Reddit. This is the model that comes to mind when people think of an insignificant idea. If a society has 1 million people in it and only 10,000 people have been infected by a given meme, then it seems intuitive to say this idea is fringe. But this is not the model that should come to mind. This is the model you should use to understand the mimetic fitness of a given idea. If 1% of the population gets infected by a biological virus, depending on how infectious it is, we can very easily predict that it will only be a matter of time before the rest of the population gets infected. By the same token, if an idea, otherwise known as a mimetic virus, is present in 1% of the population, then depending on how mimetically fit the idea is, we can predict that
Correct.
it will also only be a matter of time before the rest of the population gets infected. This idea is known as the 3.5% rule, which posits that only 3.5% of the people in a given society need to be infected by a meme for that meme to eventually take over. This is precisely what happened in the Weimar Republic, the Russian Empire, and the American colonies.
Okay, this is good. So the model that he lays out there of how ideas spread and the mimetic fitness of ideas, it's not a certain percentage. It's that the people who hold those ideas, it's like a plague. They're in contact with other people. And then that's how those ideas spread. It's not a certain percentage of people who believe it. Now, let's add something by Oxford physicist David Deutsch about what makes memes sticky within a population.
If you just try to copy a meme blindly,
Right.
without criticism,
Right.
then mistakes will happen.
Yeah.
And eventually it will not be the same meme. A rational meme reproduces faithfully because it's being criticized. And the criticism itself is what makes the meme sticky, as you put it.
Right.
It's what makes it unchanged. Otherwise, it would gradually change. And for an anti-rational meme, what makes it sticky is that criticism is disabled.
Right.
anti-rational memes do evolve by kind of dumb evolution in the same way that genes evolve. Anti-rational memes do not stay the same for thousands of generations.
So the way the meme evolves from autists to influencers to normies, it dumbs it down. We don't want that. We want to evolve a system of criticism so that the memes become criticized, so that people actually know what they believe, why they believe it, as opposed to just latching on to an idea that hooks onto their moral intuitions. It's been debated within the autists, the first part of that Gaussian distribution, but it needs to keep being debated. And when it keeps being debated, that's how we have a kind of, we create robust societies and robust ideas of intellectual communities, not by what it is now, is we've removed the criticism and it's just dumbing down the meme. So this is one of the things that I hope to talk to Richard Dawkins about in November. Unfortunately, it's sold out, but we will be talking about mimetic evolution. We will be talking about criticism and how we can retain robust communities in which people can engage each other's ideas in a civil way, and how truth will win out at the end. Thank you.